When I first started off shooting with my Lumix camera, the S5, it came with a kit lens called the 20 to 60 millimeter. It's a variable aperture kit lens, priced just right for entry-level photography. You'll see a lot of them out there. It's a really good beginner's lens. It's a really good starting place to use. I really learned a lot about lenses with it. I hadn't much experience before that. I was shooting mostly with my iPhone or my first camera, which was actually a GoPro, which had no lenses and no adjustments that you could make to those, obviously. But when I first started shooting with my S5, this lens I really honed my skills with a lot. It shoots very wide at 20 millimeters. You can go all the way up to 60 millimeters, which gives you a lot of useful focal ranges in the middle, from 24 to 35, all the way up to 50 millimeter, and then a 60. It doesn't quite go up to an 85, which is good, but it's a really great lens for when you're first just starting out. It is a variable aperture lens, which means that basically, as you zoom in, it's going to get darker. So that's not something you really want that much with video work. You're going to have kind of all your aperture settings the same. But for photography work, it's just fine. And for video work, it's fine too if you're not changing that zoom a lot, which I don't really do much. So if you're shooting wide open at 20 millimeters, that's letting in a lot of light at, I think it's 3.5. If you're doing a lot of zoom work, you're going to have a lot of trouble color grading with video. But photography, it's really great. I mean, you can zoom in and get it's a very, very workable range. A great multi-purpose travel lens too. If you're traveling and you don't have any professional work planned and you just want to kind of have a basic lens to cover all your different needs, this is great. As you can see, I've attached a little zoom throw ring on here, which does make that a little bit smoother. It's not the smoothest zoom, I've got to say, on this particular lens. It's probably not usable for video work, but if you put a little handle on there, you can get a little smoother results with that. But I'm not a big zooming kind of guy anyway. I don't really like that look very much. It's sort of a retro look, and it's good for certain types of documentary work or television work, but it's not really something I'm doing too much of. The lens obviously also comes with the lens cap and a hood like that to kind of keep the sun from jumping all in there. I've also attached, as I do to most of my lenses, a basic and very inexpensive UV filter, which is basically almost a completely clear filter. It's not going to affect your images that much. It's going to help a little bit with the UV, but mainly I've got these. You can get them pretty cheap, and I just got those to protect the lens itself. I put these on all of my lenses. They're easily removed if you don't want to shoot, but most of the time I leave them on and get, that's way I'm not worrying about scratching the lens or getting debris right on the lens itself. If anything happens to the little lens, the UV filter, UV protector, it's a lot cheaper to replace that for a few bucks than the entire lens. And so I leave that on there most of the time. And of course the lens cap comes with it. It's got a cover on the back too. If you're swapping out lenses, make sure you don't leave them exposed. And I also put some little stickers on all of my lenses so they're easy to identify in the bag, the label maker. I shot with just that for maybe about a year or two, just the kit lens. As I was purchasing other equipment as well, tripods, some basic lighting. But once I got some of the basics covered, I started thinking about getting into some better quality lenses, and that may include some prime lenses. There's a couple of them here I have. I purchased the 50 millimeter, no, excuse me, the first one I think was, they had a 85 millimeter on sale. So I purchased that. The nice thing about these lenses is they're all the same size. Once you take the different covers off, you can see they're all very equal in size and weight, almost identical. And that's really handy if you're doing gimbal work, which I was. One of the things I purchased was a gimbal, and I was doing a lot of that video work with gimbals. So these are real nice because you don't have to rebalance your gimbal every time you switch lenses, which can be a pain if you're in a hurry. So one of the first ones I purchased was the 85 millimeter, which comes with a nice hood. The hoods are all a little bit different depending on the lens to protect them, but I usually just leave them on, or when they're not using them, you can invert them and pack them up like that. But the 85 millimeter is the main reason I got that was for portrait work. It's a really good focal length for portraits. Gives you a nice blurry background, which is usually desirable in headshots, and gives you, that's really easily achievable with this lens. One of the hard things about using this lens was I had to get used to taking a few steps back. Obviously it's a zoom lens. It zooms into 85 millimeter. Fixed, you can't adjust that, but it's still zooming way in on your subject. So it takes a little getting used to that. You have to back up off maybe about 10, 15 feet even, or even more to get everything in your picture. But then you're going to get some really beautiful results. I really love this lens. I've had a lot of people compliment me on my work when really the lens was doing all the work. It just made me really look really good. After that, I saw a 50 millimeter. I kind of decided I wanted to kind of get all the primes. The 50 millimeter lens is a really natural focal length. It's kind of the most natural focal lengths of any of the lenses, I think. And they're very inexpensive typically compared to the other lenses. I guess it has less glass and stuff involved. So pretty efficient little lens to get in addition to the kit lens that I talked about. They also call this a nifty 50. Because it's just it doesn't add a lot of distortion or zoom or anything to your image. It's it almost looks like you're just not looking through anything is the best way I could describe that. It's a very natural looking lens. I also purchased the 18 millimeter, which is a very wide lens. You're going to get and it's also the same size as the others, as you can see. Same size and weight. It's very good for landscapes if you're trying to get a nice broad landscape shot. Additionally, if you're in a small room or a small area, this will really make it a lot easier for you to get everything in the room in this shot. I use it a lot for music videos. It has a very cool look for music videos, especially when people get up really nice and close to the lens. It sort of distorts their head a little bit and makes it look kind of big and freaky. So that's something you'll see a lot in modern music videos. It's really good on a gimbal because you're going to capture just about everything that you possibly could. It does distort the image a little bit in that it does start to kind of warp the edges. And like I said, if you're getting really close to the lens, it's going to distort that image a lot. But it really looks good though. I really like, it's one of my favorite lenses that I have. So those three right there, you're going to pretty much going to be able to cover a lot of ground. After that, I started really kind of spending some money and picked up the 24 and the 35 millimeter, also from the same L-mount, Lumix L-mount line, and that really completed my prime lens kit. I had all the different ranges that I needed up to 85. You can get wider lenses if you want to go down even wider for like a fisheye lens, and you can also get, of course, much more zoomed images as well, higher than 85. Panasonic, or I should say Lumix, does make a 100 millimeter prime lens that fits right in this category. I don't have that, but it's something I think I might purchase in the future just to kind of complete the kit. Right now I'm using the 35 and the 24 millimeter. I'm using the 24 millimeter on this camera right here. And I'm using the 35 to capture my overhead shots right there. So those are two very highly, probably the ones I use the most are the 24 and the 35, with these three ready to go at any time. I like this a lot too for concerts because I'll typically shoot some scenes with a wide angle capturing the whole stage and location, and then in the second set I'll go in and pop on my 85 millimeter and get some more close-up work on the singer and on the individuals on the second pass without having to get right up on the stage. I can still stand back in the audience and get some great shots with the 85, which really zooms you in there a lot. So it's up to you in which direction you want to go in. You can do a lot with your basic kit lens, like I said, but you want to start thinking about at some point maybe getting into a good prime lens. It's up to you what you do. If you're doing portrait photography, you might want to get the 85. If you're doing a lot of music videos, I'd probably go with the 18 or the 24 to get some wide angle stuff. If you're looking for something right in the middle, I'd probably go with that 50 millimeter or that 35. 35 millimeters, it's probably the most useful lens out of all the ones I have. You can use this for 35 millimeter. You can use for just about anything. It's not a cheap thing to do, get into prime lenses, but you're going to really get good at photography and videography and really understand the different lenses and what they're capable of. I was always warning about that when I was watching I love old filmmaking YouTubes like Stanley Kubrick, Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, Spike Lee, some of my favorites. And they all are switching lenses for different things. Typically what you'll see is a 24, a 35, a 50, and 85. Those are kind of the 4 lenses that you pretty much need to have. And then get into more specialty lenses like this. Obviously, there's more expensive prime lenses. This is just the ones that Lumix makes, but I think their quality is really good. And they also have good stabilization with the Lumix S5 cameras, so you're not going to get a lot of shakiness. But if all you've got is the 20 to 60, hey, you're doing, you can do great with that. You can do a lot of quality photography with that. And like I mentioned earlier, it's a great travel lens. Instead of bringing all this stuff with you when you're going on a 1-week vacation, maybe just throw the 20 to 60 in your bag and you're good to go. Plus, if anything happens to the lens, it's not the end of the world. It's not the most expensive lens. It's a few $100. You could get them used. I've actually got a couple of them now. So those come in handy if you're doing a 2-man shoot outdoors and you want to have the identical lens on both cameras. It's real easy to operate. I can't bring myself to part with the 20 to 60s. I could probably sell them and make a few $100 and get something more complicated, but have not done that. I'm still hanging on to them. I just love them. And then more recently, get these out of the way here for a second. I bit the bullet and purchased a zoom lens. I realized that the 20 to 60 and even the 85 weren't going to kind of give me the reach I wanted. And I purchased this lens from Panasonic. It's a big boy. This is the 70 to 200 millimeter. It's a great professional quality zoom lens. Let me take off the hood. It was expensive, but it was actually not as expensive as a lot of zoom lenses are. I think this was about $1,300. And this gives me the range up and beyond the 85 millimeter. So if I'm way far back in the room and I'm trying to get a shot of the stage, say I can't get too close to the stage or the talent, I can stand back in the room and zoom in to 100, 135, on all the way up to 200 millimeters, 70, 100, 135, everything in between. You also pull this to get manual focus. You don't have to switch over to manual focus. As soon as you pull that back, it kicks into manual focus, and then when you put it back, it puts it back into automatic, which I love. The great thing about this is it is a fixed aperture, so that when you're zooming in, it's not going to reduce the amount of light that's getting into the lens. It's going to stay fixed, as opposed to the 20 to 60, which is going to be variable, as I described. So it's a heavy lens. You want to mount things a little bit differently. You want to mount the lens to your tripod if you're using a tripod instead of the camera itself. Something I learned, that otherwise you're going to be putting too much strain on the way the lens attaches to the mount. I also am not going to recommend using this on a gimbal. It's just going to be way too front heavy to do that. I mean, I could probably do it, but it's not something I usually do. I'll usually work with this on a tripod. It's going to make your rig a little more heavy to do for video. If you're doing photography, it's not so bad. You can pull it up and take some pictures, but you can kind of rest your arms or put it on a strap. But if you're working on a handheld 2-hour-long music video or a concert, or certainly on a gimbal, you're just going to wear yourself out with that big boy on the front of your camera. So I got that mainly for getting a long reach from the back of the room, and then maybe doing handheld with the smaller prime lenses. That was my thought on that. And I've been very happy with the results of this lens. It's got a really good look too. And of course the hood is pretty massive. It makes it look even bigger than it really is, which is pretty impressive. And you'll definitely want to get a nice padded case to store it in. This company, JJC, makes different size cases for all of the different lenses you might have, from little short lenses to big long lenses like this one. And they're all padded. You can keep that on your shoulder and then your camera with one of your prime lenses ready to go. When you're doing photography, especially photography in the field, I'm not recommending that you bring all these lenses with you. If you're in a studio setting, sure, you want to have everything at your disposal. Or if you're doing a more elaborate video shoot, of course, you might want to switch from a wide angle to a zoom. You want to have everything at your disposal. But I recommend when you're just doing photography that you determine what type of shoot it is before you decide which lenses you're going to use, and then just bring maybe 1 or 2 lenses. You might consider just bringing, say, a 35 millimeter and an 85 for portrait work, something like that. Or if you wanted to, maybe you could bring the 24 millimeter for wide stuff, and then bring the 85 millimeter for more close-up personal stuff like that. If you're doing something simple, just bring your 20 to 60. That's fine. You just need the one lens. Or if you're doing a lot of portrait photography, you might want to bring the 50 and the 85. I'd say just bring 1 or 2 lenses for your photography shoots, and that'll probably cover you. Unless you've been specifically asked to bring a certain type of lens. I can't remember a time where I've ever regretted bringing along my 18 millimeter. Sometimes that's just a great secret weapon to have in your back pocket. If the room, if you're not quite getting all the people on stage in the shot, I'll pop that 18 millimeter and it just gets the whole room in the shot. So, but travel light, pick the lenses you need, and you'll be good to go. One thing I really learned the hard way was a little piece of lint or debris or even a raindrop on your lens will ruin your shoot. You might not notice it, especially if you're shooting without a monitor, which we often are. Even if you clean your lenses before you go to the shoot, I recommend getting a box of inexpensive eyeglass lens wipes. They're very cheap. You can get a box of 50 or 100 for just a few bucks, and bring them with you. It's great to be able to pop one out right before you shoot. Even if you cleaned them before you got there, you never know when you're going to pick up a little piece of debris or water on your lens. You open one up and just wipe off the cover real quick, and just take a quick peek and make sure there's no debris on there. Also, from time to time, you'll want to clean the back element as well. Very gently go in there and just swab that. Let it dry off real quick. They're alcohol, so that's just going to take a second to do that. Don't scrub. Don't scrub hard. You don't need to do that. You're just trying to wipe off any obvious debris. There's no guarantees, and especially on a windy or rainy day, you want to be careful and wipe your lens off in between shots as well. So if you're out in the rain or the wind, what I'll often do is, once I'm done using it, I'll just kind of fold it back up and stick it back in the little package and stick that in your pocket a couple times during the day or more. If it's raining or something like that, pull that back out and wipe it off again, just to make sure that you're not going to ruin your whole shoot because there's something on your lens. So it's one little thing I learned the hard way. There's no particular brand that I like. I just get whatever's inexpensive. And you can also obviously use those for cleaning off your glasses, like I need to do frequently. Make sure you get yourself a box of those and make sure you have plenty of them on all shoots. You obviously always want to have a charged battery in your camera, freshly charged from the night before. And I recommend for photo shoots bringing at least one spare. If you're going to be out there, if you're going on a long trip, probably bring all the batteries you have. But if you're just going out for a day shoot, maybe have one in your camera and then one as a backup. That's probably going to get you through a photography shoot. Photos don't take up as much juice as a video will, obviously. So one battery is going to probably last you the entire shoot. But if it's running low, you don't want to be panicking. You want to know you've got a backup in your pocket. So make sure you bring plenty of those.